Christina Universe Citizen presents New Era Religion, Episode 18, March 31st, 2022. Zero Inflection, Part 2. Overlapping the last paragraph of Episode 1. So instead of observing self's own reactions to the reenacting articulations as the other's projected self momentarily supplants consciousness evolution's self-awareness, which, by the way, is wholly WHOLLY individual despite being an active, albeit private person who is not and does not want to be the center stage. The most vulnerable succumb to the personality disorder that situates its influential manipulative intention to control populations using the art of religion as a restricted forum. It is where the bully pulpit personifies the impossibility of exchanging rational, logical views and instead subjects self and others to layers of deception disguised as the Word of God, no less. In truth, it is direct violation of the reason humans are designed in principle, as we are, for information gathering, local problem solving in support of universal integrity. Such realizations require systemic thoughts, consciousness evolution. Its fields of cosmic form abilities are not also contradictory assemblies. Closest packed spheres are assemblies of potentially recognized structural integrity patterns of nature's coordinate system. Nevertheless, and unfortunately, indoctrination can be so subtle. It tends to induce regenerating conformity to the propagation of the slave mentality conditioning that is programming humans as a mindless flock of sheep, as if human existence is designed to be fooled by our own imaginative ability to formulate conceptually, especially when the deceivers interject the thought process with nonrelevant references using God and other sound words for this imaginable deity, an invisible entity in any language everywhere on earth. Making artifacts to symbolize the physical form is called a God, etc., gives it the identifiable likeness to human form. It can satisfy some wonderment of self-validation as an omnipresent judge of acceptable or unacceptable, permissible or impermissible behavior to be disallowed as a punitory value. This is especially so when bending the maladaptive aberrant personality's will and that of the seemingly like-minded humans. We are all born naked, helpless, and ignorant without exception to observe the environments within which we survive to evolve as evolution beings. Could a conceptuality of zero inflection be of primary relevant significance concerning whatever may always have seemed impermissible for our individual conception field of systemic thought's knowledgeably competent realized potential? Is it the potential consciously recognized clarification of the zero phase of energy? That this corresponds to the most economical considerations may include the vector equilibrium as an essential conceptuality relative to unity and self in universe. Synergetics 440.05 and Synergetics 440.09. Not only do the vector equilibrium's comprehensive intellectual integrity and wisdom to which metaphysical intellect refers when supplanting the abstract word for God with the eternal omniscient mind, zero pulsation in the vector equilibrium is the closest approach, the nearest thing we will ever know to eternity in what I have renamed the eternal omniscient mind, Eon. Not calling it God lowercase or God uppercase. This renaming objective was subsequent to stages of consciousness evolution's exodus from the womb of permitted ignorance. It decisively resulted thus because those historically popularized sound words for God derive from the misleading, misrepresented, inceptive fallacies, those false premises that suffice to this day for amassing enormous population numbers as suppressed, inculcated, indoctrinated believers. See Discovery Channel's documentary Hillsong Worship as but one example. The suppression, although, has become so ordinary throughout the various cultures in our world as a type of mainstay conditioning that, to clarify the relative insanity, puts the omni-rationally concerned person who does so at a great risk. The clarifying evolved personality, nevertheless, must know the truth as the facts of life. Such scientific facts of life are differentiated from fiction to recognize what may not necessarily provide an immediate conceptual reference to the concave and convex, one of the always and only coexisting complementarities that physicists have found. As if this always and only coexisting complementarity, concave and convex, is inessential, since its patterning integrity is not usually correlated to the thought process and systems thinking throughout the universal communications process, as neither are female and male among an alphabetized list showing here the A list of always and only coexisting complementarities in R. Buckminster Fuller's Synergetics Dictionary, Volume 1, A through E. Abstract and sensorial, acceleration and deceleration, acceleration and eternal slowdown, activity and inactivity, active and potential, action and reaction, A quantum module and B quantum module, analysis and synthesis, anti-entropy and entropy, angle and edge, annihilation and synergy, association and disassociation, attraction and precession, attraction and repulsion, automatics and intellection, annihilation and conservation. In respect to disassociation, we are reminded here that the popularized verb in a misleading nomenclature by psychologically misdirecting interferences is programmed into the word processor's grammar correction as dissociate, not disassociation. Disassociation is more generalized and therefore is an essential clarification terminology regarding the most economic way of behaving, which is system behavior that sets the stage for human behavior, apparently and more comprehensively. This is because the environment of systems, as in general systems and general systems thinking, is conducive to consciously escaping the womb of permitted ignorance in an exodus from the inherited detriments that are set upon our humanity's ever newly born generation. Experience always comes before thinking, and we experience the environment as systemic thought formulates the words to articulate from self to others what is thus far understood. It can be agreed upon or to be further explored by conversant communicators. In addition, it is also reassuring to learn we have entered a new era now in the ever-expanding womb of total human consciousness, as the isotropic vector matrix may become a relevant referential realization field. Human intellect can feel assured to note from Synergetics 400.20 through 400.23, in quotes, we are scientifically bound to experientially discovered and experimentally demonstrable systems thinking, end quote. By design, humans are equipped thus with a knowledge of what all systems are subject to, which is comprehension and mathematical integrity of topologically characteristic trigonometric interfunctioning to be coped with by systematic logic. Systematic and generalized conceptually fields of thought requires a system. Otherwise, a fixed plan can also be of a scheme that has no consciousness of the system and its energy resource and generalized principle. Trigonometry is concerned with the relations of the sides and angles of triangles with relevant functions of any angles, so humans are not misled by deviously contrived angles to be educated by the most awkward coordinates, such as the X, Y, Z models, in a linear frame and with linear coordinates going outward from the model to infinity. Synergetics 1009.53 and 0.54. The least economic field, coordination, tends to displace evolutionary interest in nature's 60-degree coordination. The field must now be recognized as a complex of never straight lines, and for most of us, this is a welcome, simple conceptuality concerning unity always being plural and at minimum two, so that we can know with more certainty there will always be at least one other critical proximity aberration with both diametric alterations of orbit. In other words, it is high time to acknowledge a cosmic generalized intertransformability system field that the all-space filling synergetics matrix accommodates. It also equates these behaviors as the all-space filling scenario cosmic integrity that was always meant for our intelligent species, humans of the eternal omniscient mind, Yom. Synergetics 780.28. Synergetics presents a totally different picture of the multi-optioned operational field. Synergetics 311.11. The term system is used to describe and assign various organized schemes and causes a great deal of confusion as to what is a scheme and what is a system. I found this troubling as the acronym PRJWBCS, politics, religion, justice, war, belief, complex schemes, was working its way through my deciphering aptitude as I initially wrote PRJMBSC, politics, religion, justice, military, belief system, complex, where the M for the military, as in the industrial military complex Eisenhower alerted the people to watch out for, also inspired the C for complex as more clarity evolved. It was then that I realized W for war is a better choice, since it results from the ramifying culminations throughout the human interactions and interrelationships to every minor and major degree. Still, the more I learned about what a system is, the less likely that politics, religion, justice, and war could be called a system, and so I altered the acronym to PRJWBCS, politics, religion, justice, war, belief, complex schemes. To be continued in part 3, episode 19. Thank you.